In a world where mysterious creatures called parasites disrupt and destroy life, it is prevalent that humanity must fight these ungodly pests with all its might. Among this chaos, a high school student named Shinichi Izumi struggles to get himself out of a situation that he was pushed into by a mere coincidence. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Shinichi wakes up one fateful morning with an unsettling sensation in his right hand. Little does he know that a parasite, an alien life form seeking to control human brains, had attempted to invade his body. But fate had a different plan. Due to Shinichi wearing his earphones while asleep, the parasite instead burrows into his right arm. As he goes about his daily routine, he unintentionally gropes his classmate Satomi Murano, causing a moment of embarrassment. On his way home, Shinichi's newfound power becomes apparent when his right hand mysteriously stops a car from running over a little girl. Confused and frightened, he attempts to confront the strange phenomenon. In a desperate act, he tries to stab his own hand, only to witness the true form of the parasite emerge and shatter the blade. Forced into a precarious alliance, he must now cooperate with the parasite while concealing its existence from his parents, Kazuyuki and Nobuko Izumi. But the horrors intensify as Shinichi's parasite leads him to a dog inhabited by another of its kind. The parasite acts quickly and reveals that these creatures can only be killed by destroying their hearts. Shinichi, seeking familiarity, asks the parasite to be called Migi. Meanwhile, his attempt to impress Satomi leads to an unexpected basketball victory, followed by a heartfelt apology for their earlier encounter. Jealousy ignites when Kazuki picks a fight with Shinichi, who recoils in fear until Migi takes control, forcing a punch. Gruesome mincemeat murders grip the world, exposing the parasite's cannibalistic nature for survival. Guided by Migi, Shinichi confronts Mr. B, controlled by another parasite. Mr. B offers a partnership to extend their lifelines, but Migi chooses to kill him, uncertain of parasite relocation possibilities. The next day, after treating Satomi to pancakes, Shinichi surprises her by intervening in a cat's torment. A newfound strength raises questions about his changing persona. During a school assembly, Shinichi discovers that his math teacher, Ryoko Tamiya, is a parasite who knows his secret. They meet privately in the counselor's office, where Ryoko expresses no interest in fighting. Instead, she asks Shinichi to meet her after school. At a restaurant, Ryoko introduces her partner, Mr. A, and reveals her pregnancy, highlighting the parasite's ability to reproduce by taking over human bodies. Mr. A perceives Shinichi as a threat, leaving the restaurant. The next day, chaos erupts as Mr. A launches an attack on Shinichi's school. With the safety of the students in mind, Shinichi leads Mr. A away, barricading himself on the top floor. As fear grips him, Shinichi resolves to protect without harm. Migi reminds him of the need to fight as Mr. A approaches. In a high-stakes showdown, Shinichi confronts the dire consequences of his choices. United with Migi, they face an unyielding battle for survival against an unstoppable foe. The confrontation begins as Migi and Mr. A exchange lightning-fast attacks. Meanwhile, Shinichi seizes the opportunity to strike, using a metal table leg to puncture Mr. A's chest. It's a calculated move, exploiting Mr. A's underestimation of Shinichi's human abilities. Mortally wounded, Mr. A desperately seeks out Ryoko in the counselor's office. But Ryoko, understanding the imminent threat, sets off a powerful explosion using gas tanks. She sacrifices Mr. A to ensure her own escape and safety. However, news of her pregnancy reaches her colleagues, leading to her resignation from the school. Outside, Shinichi crosses paths with Ryoko, who enlightens him about the inherent directive all living organisms follow. She reveals that parasites were born to feed on humans, shedding light on their ruthless existence. The next day, Migi undertakes a daring experiment, attempting to separate himself from Shinichi's body for a brief period. Haunted by unsettling comments from his loved ones, Shinichi becomes increasingly suspicious of his own psychological changes. Matters escalate when a gang of delinquents led by Mitsuo begins assaulting Kazuki. Shinichi intervenes, but his valiant efforts result in a brutal beating. However, a perceptive gang member named Kana Kimishima senses an eerie presence within Shinichi. After school, Mitsuo and his gang kidnap Satomi, leaving Shinichi desperate to save her. Refusing assistance from Migi, Shinichi faces Mitsuo alone, only to find himself overpowered. However, a senior student named Kamiju arrives with a group of friends, turning the tide and allowing Shinichi to escort Satomi to safety. As Satomi departs, Kana approaches Shinichi, offering an apology. But when they shake hands, Kana detects something peculiar about him. Migi concludes that Kana possesses the ability to perceive wavelengths that are noticeable to parasites. Meanwhile, a relentless parasite in search of a new female host ruthlessly kills and takes over Nobuko's body. It sets its sights on Kazuyuki, Nobuko's husband. In a chilling turn of events, Shinichi receives a call from Kazuyuki, warning him about Nobuko. To his shock, Nobuko arrives home, seemingly unharmed, only to impale Shinichi in the chest. After Nobuko's departure, Migi merges with Shinichi, saving his life by sealing his wounded heart. However, this union leaves Shinichi emotionally distant. Determined to avenge Nobuko's death, he sets out to find and eliminate the parasite controlling her. At the hospital, Shinichi's anger flares when he realizes that Kazuyuki is shielded from the truth, unable to face the reality of their ordeal. Seeking solace, Shinichi takes refuge in an inn, plotting his next move. Migi reveals that its senses become dormant during its 4-hour sleep cycle since repairing Shinichi's heart. The following day, amidst complicated emotions, Shinichi's interactions with Makiko are interrupted by Migi's heightened awareness. A nearby parasite is detected. Driven by an unseen force, Shinichi races to the end of the seawall where a chilling encounter awaits. This encounter may hold the key to uncovering the truth behind Nobuko's tragic fate. Shinichi learns of Mamoru's remarkable survival after falling off a cliff, saved by the parasite fused into his jawline. As they share stories, Shinichi reveals his initial encounter with Migi and the events that led to Kazuyuki's hospitalization. Later, a startling revelation unfolds. Migi dispersed its cells throughout Shinichi's body, closing his heart wound. This explains Shinichi's newfound physical enhancements, including heightened hearing, speed, and reflexes. Mamoru senses Nobuko's presence, prompting Shinichi to head in her direction. However, Migi falls asleep, leaving Shinichi to face the impending danger alone. In a fierce battle, Mamoru suffers severe injuries at the hands of Nobuko. Unyielding, Shinichi arrives to confront Nobuko. Despite sustaining wounds himself, he presses forward. In a surprising turn of events, Mamoru executes a decisive strike, ultimately ending Nobuko's life. Saying farewell to Makiko and grappling with the weight of Nobuko's demise alongside Kazuyuki, Shinichi returns to school, contemplating the ever-present darkness that surrounds him. Tensions rise when Mitsuo suspects Kana's feelings for Shinichi and instigates a fight. However, Shinichi's newfound strength allows him to effortlessly defend himself. Satomi notices a change in Shinichi's demeanor, particularly when he callously discards a dead puppy into a garbage bin. Alone, Shinichi reflects on his actions, realizing that he has begun to think like Migi, losing the ability to shed tears. Recognizing the importance of giving the puppy a proper burial, he confronts the profound impact of his transformation. At school, Shinichi crosses paths with Hideo Shimada, a parasite disguised as a transfer student sent by Ryoko. Surprisingly, Migi does not perceive Hideo as a threat. Meanwhile, Kana, believing Shinichi to be her soulmate, senses someone approaching, a pivotal moment disrupted by Hideo's presence. Shinichi confronts Hideo, warning him to stay away from his friends. While acknowledging Kana's unique ability to sense wavelengths beyond her comprehension, Shinichi recognizes the danger that looms. As night falls, Hideo morphs his appearance to resemble Shinichi and lures a girl into a sinister alley, preparing to feast on her body. Hideo, perplexed by Shinichi's inability to sense his presence, suspects that Migi may have a weakness. Meanwhile, Chief Takizawa of the police interviews Kazuyuki, seeking information about the parasite responsible for Nobuko's death. Kazuyuki confirms the uncanny likeness of the parasite in a sketch drawn by Haruki Tachikawa, a skilled illustrator specializing in criminal profiling and the older brother of Yuko. Growing suspicious of Hideo, Yuko witnesses an astonishing event. A baseball strikes Hideo, yet he remains unharmed. Amidst his attempts to reconcile with Satomi, Shinichi is interrupted by Migi, who detects Hideo's preparation to confront Mitsuo and his gang. Shinichi dismisses Hideo's intentions and warns the gang to stay away from him. As Satomi distances herself due to Shinichi's changed personality, Yuko follows Hideo, discovering his ability to change his appearance. She shares this revelation with Haruki, unaware of the danger lurking within their midst. The next day, in the art classroom, Yuko confronts Hideo about his true identity, venturing into uncharted territory, oblivious to the risks that lie ahead. Cornered and desperate, Yuko hurls a bottle of paint thinner at Hideo, causing him to spiral into a state of madness. Unleashing an uncontrollable killing spree, Hideo leaves a trail of carnage in his wake. Despite evacuation efforts, 17 victims, including students, teachers, and even policemen, fall prey to his merciless assault. In the face of this relentless danger, Shinichi musters the courage to rescue Satomi, leading her far away from the chaos. Migi, ever vigilant, senses Hideo's presence on the school rooftop. Shinichi positions himself on a nearby building, aided by Migi's assistants as they hurl a rock through Hideo's chest, putting an end to his reign of terror. In a meeting of officials, it is decided to keep the parasite a secret. Dr. Yui, a scientist, reveals a groundbreaking method of identification, plucking a strand of hair from any part of the body to analyze its physiology, as the hair remains alive for a brief period. Consequently, a new form of greeting emerges, involving the exchange of hair strands. As the dust settles, Shinichi finally reconciles with Satomi, their bond strengthened by gratitude for saving each other's lives. Shinichi grapples with the decision to confide in Kana about his condition, wary of her uncanny ability to sense his presence and other parasites. However, when Satomi questions Kana about Shinichi's changed demeanor, Kana denies noticing any differences, furthering the complexity of their tangled relationship. Meanwhile, a formidable parasite named Gotu, disguised as a man in gym attire, embarks on a murderous rampage, targeting 22 armed members of a Yakuza organization. His objective? To test his combat skills against armed humans without relying on parasite weaponry. Despite sustaining 3 hits in the process, Gotu emerges victorious, assuming the identity of a businessman to conceal his true nature. The following day, Shinichi experiences a deep connection with Migi, sensing their fusion more profoundly. While on a date with Satomi, a distressing encounter triggers a sharp pain in Shinichi's chest, an empathetic reaction to witnessing a mother's restraint in disciplining her disobedient child. Kana's heartache intensifies when she witnesses Shinichi sharing his first kiss with Satomi, further deepening her sense of despair. Later, Migi detects the presence of 8 parasites at the mayoral campaign promoting environmentalism, spearheaded by Takeshi Hirokawa. However, Migi struggles to discern Hirokawa's true motives, leaving Shinichi and the world at large in a state of uncertainty. Shinichi and Migi uncover a shocking revelation. Hirokawa's mayoral campaign serves a sinister purpose, aiming to create a sanctuary for the parasites. Fueled by this newfound knowledge, Shinichi grows increasingly concerned for Kana's safety, fearing that her unique ability may attract danger. In an abandoned building, Shinichi meets with Kana, bearing the truth about the existence of parasites, while Migi slumbers. Though Kana initially brushes it off as a joke, Shinichi promises to reveal Migi to her one day. Later, Migi discloses a distressing revelation. Kana emits a weak signal that is detectable by other parasites, putting her in grave danger. Determined to protect her, Shinichi convinces Migi to reveal his true form during their planned meeting at a train station. However, their encounter is thwarted when Shinichi senses the presence of other parasites, prompting him to cancel the meeting. Driven by instinct, Kana tracks Shinichi to the abandoned building. Tragically, she comes face to face with a parasite inhabiting a human host. In a devastating turn of events, Kana is fatally stabbed just as Shinichi arrives. Consumed by rage, Shinichi unleashes his formidable strength, ripping out the parasite's heart. Migi, astonished by Shinichi's power, witnesses the death of Kana in Shinichi's arms. At Kana's funeral, Shinichi exhibits an unnerving calmness amidst the sea of mourning, raising questions about his humanity in the face of unspeakable loss. The newly elected mayor Hirokawa discusses Kana's death with Reiko Tamura, formerly Ryoko Tamiya. Reiko, tasked with investigating Shinichi's involvement, hires a private investigator named Shiro Kuramori. She also arranges for thugs to attack Shinichi, hoping to exploit his unique right hand, but fails. Satomi learns from Yuko about Shinichi's apparent indifference to Kana's death, straining their relationship. At night, Shiro follows Shinichi to the abandoned building where he mourns Kana's death. Migi attempts to kill Shiro, but Shinichi stops him, allowing Shiro to escape. The next day, Shinichi and Migi analyze Shiro's camcorder footage, suggesting Shinichi is being targeted. Days later, Shinichi encounters the wounded Shiro, still following him. In the evening, Shinichi meets Satomi at a playground, but hesitates to reveal his true self, further distancing them. Determined to uncover the truth, Shinichi enlists the help of Mamoru to capture and interrogate Shiro. Meanwhile, Shiro confides in Reiko about the attack by Shinichi's mysterious right hand. However, his claims are met with disbelief, leading Reiko to sever their ties. Shinichi and Mamoru kidnap Shiro and take him to the abandoned building. There, Shinichi recounts the events leading to Kana's tragic demise. Skeptical at first, Shiro's doubts are shattered when Migi physically threatens him and reveals the shocking truth. Reiko is a parasite. The following day, Shinichi confronts Reiko on the rooftop of a university, shortly after she attends a lecture on human behavior. Reiko unveils her fascination with the evolution of parasites, envisioning a coexistence that remains deeply imbalanced. Taunting Shinichi about Nobuko's death, Reiko pushes him to the edge. In a desperate attempt to fight back, Shinichi finds himself confronted with an agonizing choice as Reiko uses her baby as a human shield. Overwhelmed by pain, he flees. In search of answers, Shinichi encounters a fortune teller who cryptically advises him to find the person responsible for the hole in his heart. A quest for closure that leads him to a shocking realization. The one who inflicted that wound, his mother, has already met her fate at his hands. Hirokawa's grand scheme to secure dining areas for the parasites comes to light. Shiro leads Shinichi and Migi to a parking garage where they witness Kawada, a parasite inhabiting a host, mercilessly taking the life of an innocent woman. In a gripping battle, Shinichi and Migi confront Kawada, with Shiro capturing the intense clash on video. However, Shiro has a change of heart and decides to erase the incriminating footage, distancing himself from the investigation of parasites. Undeterred, Shinichi vows to eliminate the parasites one by one, driven by a relentless determination. Meanwhile, Hirokawa perceives Shinichi as a formidable threat, prompting him to unleash Goto, a powerful parasite, to eliminate him. As Shinichi attends school, Migi detects the presence of 3 parasites with a lethal agenda, their sights set on Shinichi's life. In a desperate bid for survival, Shinichi finds himself racing against time as Migi falls into a deep slumber for 4 hours. To compound his fears, Miki, another parasite dispatched by Hirokawa, closes in on Shinichi in the middle of the road. The shocking revelation unfolds as Shinichi and Migi realize that the 3 parasites all share Miki's body. Determined to confront Miki, Shinichi and Migi venture into the woods, only to discover a startling revelation. Miki is not alone. Merged with Goto, a fearsome entity comprising 5 parasites, each hosting different limbs and a head. A chilling realization sets in as Shinichi and Migi find themselves face to face with this formidable enemy. Desperate to escape, Shinichi hitches a ride to safety. Outside a restaurant, he urgently contacts Kazuyuki, warning him of the impending danger and urging him to leave the house to protect himself. Meanwhile, Shiro grapples with the harrowing aftermath of his office being burned down and the tragic loss of his family at the hands of Kusano, Hikawa, and Maisawa, members of Hirokawa's cabal. As Shiro faces interrogation from Detective Hirama, the true extent of his trauma is laid bare. Reiko, deeply disappointed in Kusano, Hikawa, and Maesawa for their failure to eliminate Shiro, confronts them, revealing her belief in the indomitable strength of the human race. Suspicion and mistrust loom large among this fractured group. Under cover of darkness, Shiro discreetly shadows Reiko, leading to a tense confrontation as she becomes surrounded by Kusano, Hikawa, and Maisawa. At a municipal construction site, Reiko finds herself confronted by Kusano, Hikawa, and Maisawa. Utilizing a cunning strategy, she separates and defeats each of them individually, using a fragment of herself as a decoy. Returning home, Reiko receives distressing news. Her son has been kidnapped by Shiro. A chilling note demands her presence at the park. Desperate to save her child, Reiko contacts Shinichi, urging him to meet her at the designated location. Meanwhile, Satomi, concerned for Shinichi's safety, attempts to follow Reiko, but loses sight of her amidst the chaos. As Reiko arrives at the park's bridge, a heart-wrenching confrontation ensues. Shiro, fueled by vengeance, threatens to throw Reiko's son to his death, accusing her of being a cold-blooded monster. In a shocking turn of events, Reiko, surprising even herself, musters the strength to stab Shiro and reclaim her son, just moments before he plummets over the railing. Reiko, on the brink of her demise, shares a profound revelation with Shinichi. Her research reveals that parasites and humans are intertwined within a single biosystem. Parasites, dependent on humans for survival, are inexplicably linked to their existence. As the truth resonates, Hirama and his men unleash a barrage of bullets, attempting to eliminate Reiko. To everyone's surprise, Reiko makes a startling choice. She does not fight back or flee, despite possessing the ability to do so. Instead, she entrusts her son to Shinichi, embodying a selfless act of sacrifice before her untimely end. At that moment, Shinichi sees a reflection of his own mother within Reiko, and memories of Kana and his fallen friends flood his mind. Overwhelmed by grief and loss, Shinichi, for the first time since merging with Migi, allows his tears to flow freely, a poignant moment witnessed by Satomi, bringing a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. Suspicion lingers around Shinichi's encounters with parasites, leading Hirama to bring him to an interrogation room. There, he comes face to face with Uragami, a notorious serial killer who claims to possess the ability to discern parasites. In a surprising turn of events, Uragami fails to detect any signs of inhumanity within Shinichi's eyes, much to the frustration of Hirama. Determined to combat the parasite threat, Hirama proposes a tactical operation to police officer Yamagishi, dubbing it a pest control mission. Meanwhile, as the school year draws to a close, Shinichi showcases extraordinary speed on the running track during physical education class. Later, as Shinichi converses with Satomi, his plans are interrupted by Hirama, who recruits him for the upcoming operation, an action that leaves Satomi frustrated and concerned. Drawing upon his knowledge from previous discussions with Migi, Shinichi advises Yamagishi to equip the team with flamethrowers as their primary weapon. As the operation unfolds, Yamagishi and his squad work tirelessly to evacuate civilians from the town hall. Utilizing advanced technology, they scan for parasites hidden amongst the unsuspecting human population. The evacuation is in full swing, but panic grips the civilians when a parasite, hosted by a young girl, wreaks havoc from the outside, damaging the high-tech equipment. With limited options, Yamagishi and his squad make a difficult decision. They sacrifice their fellow humans inside the lobby to eliminate the parasites. This ruthless act creates an opportunity for Hirakawa and his cabal to slip away unnoticed. Meanwhile, Yamagishi takes Uragami under his wing and commands the squad to divide and conquer, venturing to different floors of the town hall in pursuit of the parasites. Shinichi, filled with worry, watches from the sidelines, anxious about the unfolding operation. As the squad members encounter the formidable Goto, their efforts seem futile. Goto effortlessly absorbs and deflects the bullets, leaving them at a standstill. Simultaneously, other members storm the auditorium, only to find Hirakawa waiting for them. In this crucial moment, the battle rages on, testing the resilience and determination of both humans and parasites. The aftermath of the town hall confrontation leaves Hirakawa pointing the finger at humans, claiming they are the true infection on Earth. However, his shocking revelation stuns everyone as he is revealed to be human, not a parasite. Chaos ensues as Uragami seizes the opportunity, shooting Hirama's partner Katsumata and making his daring escape. With the squad members falling one by one, the formidable Goto emerges as the ultimate threat. He mercilessly eliminates all the remaining squad members inside the town hall, leaving no room for mercy. Yamagishi meets a grim fate, beheaded by Goto on the roof of the building. Outside, Shinichi comes face to face with the relentless Goto, who vows to kill him before vanishing to replenish his energy. Overwhelmed by fear and paranoia, Shinichi's world crumbles as he realizes his vulnerability without Migi's protection. Satomi's visit triggers a breakdown and Shinichi flees, seeking solace in his darkest moments. But hope flickers in unexpected places. Satomi finds Shinichi at the playground, extending an invitation to her home. In a moment of vulnerability and connection, they share a profound intimacy that reignites Shinichi's will to survive. Determined to defeat Goto once and for all, Shinichi and Migi concoct a daring plan. They crash a car into him, hoping to finish him off. However, their efforts fall short as Goto survives the collision unscathed. Undeterred, they regroup in a dense forest, with Migi separating from Shinichi to launch a surprise attack. But their strategy fails, resulting in a devastating turn of events. Migi sacrifices himself to ensure Shinichi's escape, leaving Shinichi shattered and alone. In his injured state, Shinichi finds refuge with a kind-hearted woman named Mitsuyo. She provides him shelter and care, offering solace during his darkest moments. But as news of another villager's death surfaces, Shinichi realizes that Goto is responsible. Filled with determination, Shinichi decides to confront the monster on his own. Despite Mitsuyo's pleas not to throw his life away, Shinichi remains resolute. Understanding his unwavering resolve, Mitsuyo equips him with a cleaver, bidding him farewell and wishing him luck. Shinichi, fueled by determination, confronts Goto in the dark forest. However, he quickly realizes the overwhelming power of his adversary and suffers a brutal beating. Using a metal pipe from a nearby toxic waste dump, Shinichi pierces Goto, unleashing a cascade of events. A fragment of Migi emerges from Shinichi's arm, countering Goto's attack and reuniting with the rest of himself that was absorbed by Goto. Infected by the toxic substances, the other parasites within Goto's body reject his brain, leaving him vulnerable. Migi seizes the chance and destroys Goto's body. As Goto's body desperately tries to regenerate, Shinichi faces a crucial decision. Will he preserve Goto's body or destroy it to safeguard humanity? In a moment of clarity, Migi convinces Shinichi of the necessity to eliminate Goto once and for all. In a final act of determination, Shinichi musters the strength to vanquish the last remnants of the parasite threat. With humanity hanging in the balance, he embraces his duty and takes action, delivering a decisive blow. 1 year has passed since the town hall incident, and the mincemeat murders have ceased. In a dream, Shinichi bids farewell to Migi as the sentient parasite prepares to hibernate, evoking memories of the loved ones he lost. When Shinichi wakes up, a miracle awaits him. His right hand has fully regenerated. During a heartfelt date with Satomi, Shinichi ponders the paradox of humanity's love for the earth while often neglecting to love themselves. Little does he know that this moment of contemplation will soon be shattered. Uragami, a lingering presence from the past, appears and kidnaps Satomi, taking her to the rooftop of a building. As Shinichi races to save her, Uragami confronts him with a chilling revelation. Humanity, he claims, is teeming with monsters, and Shinichi finds himself torn between his dual nature. Satomi, with newfound understanding, declares her unwavering support for Shinichi as a person, bridging the gap between their souls. In a heart-stopping moment, Uragami hurls Satomi over the ledge, but Shinichi's quick reflexes knock him out. Yet, the price is paid. Satomi's safety remains uncertain. In that critical instant, a familiar presence resurfaces. Migi, now a part of Shinichi's subconscious, urges him to take control. With determination coursing through his veins, Shinichi extends his hand to Satomi, pulling her back from the brink of despair. In a profound display of resilience and growth, Shinichi thanks Migi for never truly leaving him and returning to offer assistance in his time of need.